Hey everybody, Chuck Barone here. Can you believe it's already Wednesday? This week is just flying by. Wednesday, April the 24th, 2024. Another day of madness, guys. It just keeps getting crazier by the freaking minute. But before I get rolling on the show, let me take a second. Welcome everybody. Nice to see y'all. Good to see the comments already started up. And of course, as always, guys, thank you for your support. Thank you guys so much for making the show work. We appreciate you guys being here for the live feed, your comments, your likes, all the stuff you guys do every day to help the show out. We appreciate you guys. All right, so let's talk about crazy markets today. You want to know crazy? I'll tell you what I think is crazy. We all saw Tesla yesterday take a mighty poop as they came out with not such great earnings. Things looking not so great for the future. Lots of big competition. Elon distracted, and lots of not such great stuff happening at Tesla. So the market tanked it yesterday and leading up to yesterday. What a difference a day makes. Today, Tesla up 12%. Boom. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because they realized the PR they were getting with some of their strategy. So Elon came out today and talked. Elon talked, Tesla goes up 12%. That's the world we're living in. Crazy times. Anyway, so the markets today, kind of a weird mixed day. I think the market's holding their breath. We know we're going to get data tomorrow. We know we're going to get data Friday. Two huge days coming up, man. Tomorrow we get GDP and jobs. Both of those I think are going to be hotter than the Fed wants. On Friday, we get PCE, we get consumer spending, we get consumer debt, we get all kind of good stuff. So the week's going to finish with a flourish. So today, kind of a weird breather day. The Dow falls 42 points, 38,460 on the Dow. Hey, Raymond. The NASDAQ actually gains 16 points today. Ekes out a small gain, thank you. 15,712 on the NASDAQ, and the S&P gains 1 point. 5,071 in the S&P 500. So there you have the day in the stock market. Not much. Bond market a little more active, with bonds actually falling down again today. Again, yesterday was bonds up, today bonds down. The 10-year actually rises 5 basis points, now sitting at 4.65%. The 2-year up 2 basis points, 4.93%. I guess the bond market should be kind of happy with some of that. Hey, Attila, should be happy with some of those rates there, yields, because it was looking, the 2-year was on the brink, 4.99, right? And they were even talking about the 10-year getting up to 5%. Well, not so fast. The dollar today rallies up 14 basis points, 105.82 for the dollar on the index. Still a good, strong number. Back under 106 and staying there. We'll see. Again, tomorrow and Friday, big data going to move these numbers around. Gold today takes a little bit of a hit, down $6.30, sitting $2,316.20 for an ounce of gold. Still a very solid number. And silver falls 16 cents today, $27.20 for an ounce of silver. Silver's just got me a little nervous, but I think when it rallies, it's going to rally big. Oil today comes down a little bit. Hallelujah. Down 55 cents, $82.81. And I tell you guys, like I say every day, when they settle things down with Israel, Iran, and the Middle East a little bit, oil prices are going to come down. Bitcoin today takes a little bit of a hit, down $1,979. Still a good, strong number, though, 64,302 for Bitcoin. Looks like it might have a not the easy rip right through 70,000 up to 100 that some people were expecting. But I still think Bitcoin's going to travel and going to do well. Got a little bit of information coming up today on China, and they're authorizing Bitcoin and crypto ETFs. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So markets today, not much. Kind of a holding pattern, like I was saying again. Tomorrow and Friday are going to be massive days, guys. Don't miss tomorrow's show. Don't miss Friday's show. Those are going to be important ones. That's going to be the kind of data that can move markets, make a difference in your portfolios. All right, so Let's talk about GDP tomorrow. Now, the GDP number has been sizzling hot, man. We've had 6 consecutive quarters with growth higher than 2%. That's going back decades to have that. We had a number of 3.5% in the fourth quarter. We had a number of 4.9%. So the economy continues to grow. Now we'll see what the number comes tomorrow. They're forecasting 2.2% growth in the first quarter, which would then, of course, be the 7th consecutive number of GDP growth greater than 2%. Again, we had 3.5% in the fourth quarter. So they're saying that government spending, of course, and consumer spending has really held up. They said consumers are spending 3% more so far this year than they did last year. So consumer spending, government spending, pushing GDP higher. There's a little bit of a concern about import deficits, trade deficits. We'll see how that plays out. But it's going to show the economy is still strong, guys. I mean, it is what it is, right? So I think that this is another nail in the rate cut coffin, which I've talked about ad nauseum. You guys know how I feel about where rate cuts are coming, how many we're going to get. I've talked about it a million Brazilian times. If we're lucky, we get one this year. This GDP number, I think jobs are still going to stay strong. They're expecting, I guess, 212,000. The data is going to be hot. Then we're going to get Friday PCE. So if inflation is even a little bit, even if it just stays the same, I think that's going to be a disappointment. So I think that the Fed's I think their FOMC meeting starts May the 1st, I think, right at the beginning of May. They'll have their open market committee meeting. And I think that this week is going to completely rule out May and June. So now we move into July in the summer. The election starts up full blast. I'm telling you guys, they're not going to cut rates during an election. I don't care. They can tell you they're going to till they're blue in the face. Don't you believe it? Okay. So I think that my forecast, what I've been telling you guys, we're going to get maybe one rate cut this year in December. It's really going to be kind of a meaningless gesture, more or less, because we need rate cuts now, especially, I guess the economy is doing great. My view of it's a little bit biased because I'm in real estate, and let's say it, man, real estate is sucking right now, man. It's terrible. So, my view of the economy is a little bit different than a guy who's, working in a factory, or the insurance guys whose all of his premiums are going up, so his commissions are going up with them. And on with everybody's doing well in this economy, except anybody attached to real estate or any interest sensitive industry. Business spending is down because they don't want to borrow money at these rates. They're going to hold out and buy equipment when rates come down a little bit. We all know they're going to sooner or later, more likely than later. So there you have it, guys. I think the stock market, I don't see any signs anywhere that the stock market's going to crash. You're going to read about this. You're going to hear about this. They're going to tell you this. But I need to see some evidence, not just opinion, right? Companies are earning money. Not all of them, Tesla. But companies are earning. They said that almost 90% of the S&P companies that have reported earnings have beat estimates. Well, guess what? The companies are earning money. Earnings are what drives the stock market, ultimately. Now, rate cuts are exciting to the market because they believe that will do what, guys? Drive earnings higher. That's why the market's all bullish on rate cuts. But the earnings are still there. They don't need rate cuts, right? So we'll see. And I know Greg, he says they're going to cut rates. He's a big believer in this gigantic debt bubble and the debt implosion and all stuff like that. I have my views on that as well. I think that our debt is way, way out of control. But my view of things is a little different than Greg's. He believes that they want everybody in government programs and the government to control everybody. I'm not so sure if I believe that. What I believe is the government just is talking parrots for the moneyed people, the corporations and the wealthy. They're the ones who run this government. They pay all the bills. They pay all the bills of the government and these elections and everything else for sure. Okay. So they're the ones writing the rules, and the rules are all benefiting them, which makes sense. Okay. Now, what do the wealthy people want? Do they want everybody on government programs? No, because that means they got to pay for those programs by corporate and personal taxes. What they want is very simple, guys. They want everybody to become what I call a debt slave, for lack of a better term. The idea of a debt slave is a simple one. You can make money. Oh, yeah. Get out there, work, man. Make money, start a business, do whatever, make money. Just make sure that when you get that money, you got to sit down at your desk and pay out every penny of it to existing bills. That's a debt slave, where every penny you make is basically pre-spoken for, right? I'll bet you right now, guys, I would like to see your guys' answers on this. I know some of you guys are carrying credit cards, some of you are not. To those of you who are carrying credit cards, do you know what you're paying on your interest rate today? Because I was reading today, said, the vast majority of people don't even know what their interest rate is on their credit card. Some rates are above 30%, guys. Take a look at that, right? So we need to pay attention to things a little bit more than we do, right? Anyway, I'm wandering into the weeds here. Just know that there's no imminent stock market crash, barring geopolitical disaster. Keep your eye on earnings. Rate cuts are just a bonus for the markets. Bottom line, okay? Oil and gas news. Now let's move on because I'm running out of clicks here. Oil and gas mergers hit record levels in the first quarter of this year, guys. Oil and gas mergers now $51 billion worth of deals done in the first quarter. So what we're having now in the oil business, it's the same old things. The bigs buying up the littles. And it seems like everything now, if you look at almost every industry, is controlled by 5 companies. Media, whatever your business is, whatever category you fall in, media, manufacturing, car companies, whatever. Everything comes down to 5 companies, it seems like. It's crazy. So that in the oil and gas business continues. Maybe one of these days. And what happens is, I guess the little guys can't complain about it too much, because when they suck up and buy these little companies, they pay them out. So the company that sells makes money. They're happy. They get their shares bought. They're rich. The company buying them, the big company, they're happy because they got that production and that new knowledge and that new technology or that new whatever it is. And the shareholders are happy in some cases. And guess who gets screwed? Us. We don't get screwed, but we don't get to participate in the gains, right? So this consolidation, what it does is it leads to higher prices everywhere, especially when we know, shockingly, these companies were willing to collude with each other to keep prices high. Go figure. Would they do that to us? Yeah, they will. All right, moving on. You saw in the title, cows. This blew me away today. This had nothing to do with finance. I mean, it will ultimately, but not right now. Cows are now testing positive for H5N1 avian bird flu. Cows. I thought, cows get cow flu, birds get bird flu. I guess I'm certainly no expert at this, okay? But this is a big freaking thing right now. Cows, now they have to have tests. Now they're going to start running the tests. This is all a very familiar thing, right, guys? They're going to start running tests on these cows. And the cow, if it tests positive, won't be able to travel over state lines. So this is going to impact the industry pretty dramatically. Now, right now, this is limited to only dairy cows. And I'm guessing dairy cows are not really moved across state lines too much, okay? But here's the really weird thing. The dairy cows get the flu, avian H5N1 flu, and the milk is testing positive for the flu, even after it's pasteurized. Oh, great, man. Okay, so now, of course, humans under no danger. Don't worry about it. Buy milk, drink milk. I would be a little bit more cautious with that, guys. At least for now, till we know what's going on. You don't need to, unless well, for whatever reason, you got to have milk, drink your milk. If you don't, be careful. And I know a lot of adults don't really drink much milk anyway, but this is kind of a weird one. And it's obviously very quiet right now. We haven't heard very much about this in the mainstream media at all, and we won't. But this is a big deal for cattle. If they start restricting cattle that we turn into beef, expect beef prices to rocket, and you get ready now, because milk is probably going to have its issues too, and you're going to see rising prices on dairy products too. So get ready for that. Bird flu in cows. We get the craziest stuff every freaking day, guys. What the hell's next, right? Okay, here's some good for our friends with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. China okays Bitcoin crypto ETFs on the Hong Kong exchange. Boom. Guess what, guys? New huge numbers, big demand. Get ready. Another surge coming for Bitcoin, especially once these are more mainstream, these ETFs. Watch and see, guys. This is going to add a huge amount of demand. And then manufacturing numbers we got today. I saved this one for last because there just was nothing to it. Manufacturing numbers were up small. Showed that businesses are waiting to do big purchases. Not a surprise. But manufacturing is still, even though the numbers are up a little bit, they're up from, it's like, when you're getting up from the floor, getting up a little bit is not that big of a deal. And that's kind of where we are with this manufacturing numbers. Manufacturing is strengthening a little bit, but it's certainly, to consider the U.S. anything in manufacturing, well, why bother? Anyway, that's it for the day, guys. I'm getting done. We've done in 17 minutes, a record. I appreciate your support. I love you and appreciate you guys coming here. I will be in the comments today. I got nothing to do. I'm going to be chilling tonight watching the Golden Knights game. So hit me up in the comments. If you got some questions, especially, I'm feeling sassy today. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you the news you need. Please hit the like button. It changes the algorithm around, gives us more views. Share the video with your friends. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit your notifications, hit all your buttons. Hit them all, man. Back tomorrow. News you need. Big day tomorrow. Till then, guys, take care.